What's yearned for has nothing to do with you or the way you think you are or the way you experience yourself to be. It has nothing to do with your inadequacies or your failures or your achievements or any of that, because all of that is simply a story. So what's yearned for is whatever is appearing to happen, which doesn't have room for you. There is no you, there is no separate you. You and your life is just a story. And that's what this evening's about, just that illumination, that simple, direct illumination that there is no separate you. There never has been. There's just aliveness, which is nothing being everything. That's it, really. We'll see what happens. Hi, Cher.
You hear me, Kenneth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice to see you.
You too.
So I see forward to come to London on Saturday. It's very, it will be very nice to be in your live meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
So I booked everything. I will fly from here on Friday. So I hope to find that, this place. So I think it will be, the taxi will take me there,
Okay, I'll send an email tomorrow with some a bit more details. It's on the Piccadilly line.
Yeah.
So I think once you know it's on the, and I know the station it's on as well. So
the address is I found the address, so I think it will be not a problem. So.
No, it's not that. I don't think it's difficult. I've never been there. Hopefully I'll find it too, huh?
Yeah. And then I think to ask you about this message is about dying.
Apparently dying, yeah.
Yeah. But if there is no me, who will die?
That's what I said, apparently dying.
And what do you mean with
But I mean,
apparently?
apparently dying is actually nobody. It's not the nothing happens to anybody because there already is no individual, and there is no death. So there's death to the individual. There's life and death.
Yeah,
There's duality. So because the individual is dualism. There's me. It's a sense, a lived sense of me and life, and that duality is. There's a thing called life, and there's a thing called death. There's up and down and in and out and right and wrong and this whole play of opposites. And life feels, there's a really lived feeling, a cellular contracted sense of feeling like an individual. And the weekend and this now as well, even though there's not a whole lot coming out of my mouth, is there?
I
And it's just
just
the way it is. But this whole communication is a suggestion that that there is no separate you. So that's what it is. So it's heard as it's heard. I'm sure if
yeah,
you're coming to London, you've listened to a lot of my.
yeah, surely, and that I wish, and then I mean mentally I do understand that there is not separate. Nothing is separate. It's just how some everything looks separate, but yet it cannot be separate because this is just mentally our feeling,
Mm.
which I say. But this
Yeah.
this yeah, go on. Yeah.
No, you say you were saying something.
But that's just mentally I feeling. The feeling is mostly I have when I listen to the message, you know. So,
Mm. Well, like what you'll see on the weekend is this is completely energetic. It's totally
yeah,
energetic. So, um, when you get together in a room, it's a different kind of resonance.
yes,
Mm.
I'm very. That's why I'm very much.
Yeah, well, you see, I don't mean to be building it up because, it is what it is. So it's not that it's going to be some wow moment, like, but it's best shared in person in a group in person. That's what I would say. But also, it does resonate over. Like I've had
Like this.
a lot of feedback from Zoom, and people say it's very resonates very much. But um, so there you go. I suppose hence I wouldn't be doing them otherwise. But um, obviously, it's different when you get together. I think it's just got a different quality to it.
Yeah, I'm actually I about the messages is I have no much to ask, you know, because
Yeah,
it's
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's very common. I mean, there's lots of people that come, and they're drawn to come, and they don't particularly have many questions, or and it's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's not about that at all. Like, I mean, if this was about knowing and an answer to a question, like I just sit down and there's either talking or there isn't. There's either something said or there isn't. I have no idea. I've absolutely no idea, and that's just the way it is. If this was about knowing, then I'd have some. I can prepare things. I've done all of that. I would just prepare something. I would prepare a different topic. I would prepare a different angle, and I would give what would kind of approximate a lecture, and then there would be questions and answers at the end, and it would be much it would be, to some people it would be much better because I would be speaking to them then about something they can learn and know, whereas this is unknowable and wild, and it's nothing at all. It's
it's
there's a suggestion made, and sometimes, now granted, there's a small enough group tonight, but sometimes even in a bigger group there's not too many questions, so then you know there's nothing to
yeah,
say really in a way. But it's yeah, it's a resonance and it's a suggestion. It's an illumination of the obvious. So it doesn't really matter if you have questions or not, or there's
Do you
nothing
like,
expected of anybody, you know?
I mean, I myself, I never have been in no any spiritual world. Nothing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Neither was I. Actually, I had no, well, before all of this was seen, I had no interest in any spiritual stuff. I had some kind of very, very basic kind of knowledge of things like Buddhism and stuff, but none of it really grabbed me very much at all.
I mean, I never did meditation. I don't know even how it is, you know. The only,
Yeah, I know. Well,
the
you're well
only thing,
qualified for the meeting on the weekend then.
I just come through this message and then that's all.
Yeah, in one way you're better off. In a kind of cruel way, you're kind of better off. It's strange to say that, but um, you see, what happens is people get you get into these things. Well, it doesn't matter what you call them, non-duality and or spirituality and different things, and something is made out of nothing. Then really, and then there's these all of these practices that are engaged with. They give a feedback through a experientially, and it can very much feel like there's some states reached or experiences had that feel like it's closer to something, and all of that is an illusion.
Yeah, I
So in one
can.
way, the more someone has done of those kinds of things, the more they might have some sort of idea of what they're looking for, and that's not what they're looking for.
The only thing which I did love in my life and still I do is the poems, you know, the poems.
Oh,
Poems.
poems, yeah, okay. Do you
And I
write
like,
poems yourself?
yes, I sometimes I like very much. I don't know if you know about the Sufi mystic. His name was Rumi.
Oh yeah, 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 I've read some of that, yeah.
I like his poem
Yeah.
and also of Omar Khayyam, if you know.
No. Mm.
No, but anyway, there's two, but I like more poems of Rumi.
Mm.
And Rumi did talk nearly something like this message, but
Mm.
it's a story, but
Yeah,
he did
maybe some of what was written is kind of
some of
yeah, maybe. I'm not familiar
but,
enough to kind of
but
really.
I'm but I now I don't even listen to them either. So
Yeah, yeah, okay.
it's
Mm.
finished. It's just this now.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's nothing required. There's no knowledge needed. Obviously, it's not about understanding or knowing. And there's either a resonance with what's suggested or there isn't, and maybe there is there because you're coming to London.
Yeah, it's very,
So
very deeply, you know. This is
yeah.
the problem. You know, I cannot do something about it.
Mm. Yeah, well,
Nothing.
there's no you to do something
Yeah.
about it. It's just what's appearing to happen. So coming to London is just what's appearing to happen. And if there was no coming to London to a meeting, that's also what would appear to
What's
happen. And one wouldn't be better than the other. So, but yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks a lot.
I'll talk to you in the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Hi.
Thank you.
See you.
Yeah.
Hi, Dana.
Hey there.
Hi, yeah.
um, so this past weekend there was just a really beautiful glimpse on a mountaintop, and it's just so obvious when it happens, and there's such it's so obvious that there's no one there. There's no one. It's just completely different. Um, and I'm just sitting here wondering, like, how, because they seem to be happening more and more, and this sense of separation feels so artificial in a way.
Mm.
And there's just this resounding question of how can it keep coming how can that sense of separation keep seeming to be here when it's so clear, when it's not there, that that's how it really is.
Mm.
I don't even know what I'm asking. It's just it's unbelievable how that it feels like that sense of separation is so strong. But on the other hand, I feel like it's just a wispy nothing.
Oh yeah, it is nothing. Yeah, it's just it's an appearance that it comes back. So it's everything is energy. All there is energy. So the energy energetically, there's this scene that okay, there's no me. There's just what's appearing to happen. And energetically also there's a contraction appears to come back and a sense of being to me appears to happen. So there you go, really. You know, it can just be seen that it's also just a play of light. It's not really happening even.
Mm.
Whereas the individual is in this it kind of feels like okay, it's so clear there's not just what's appeared, there's just nobody, there's no individual, and then it's almost like this the sense of well, that's it, I'm there, or I was there, you know, last week or whatever, or when this glimpse, and then now I'm not there again because I feel like me again. And that's just simply also just the play of dualism.
Maybe it's that way all the time and it's just more noticeable. I
Yeah.
don't know, but it's different. It's when that seems to happen, that there's no one there, it's there's no words that can be formed. There's just there may be something happen in the body, and can't describe it.
No, nobody can describe it. No, it's impossible.
And
It just can be kind of pointed towards. That's about it, really. Yeah. It's not describable, but yeah. So that it's just that's all I can really say about it. Is like you know, if we were to really formulate a story around all of that, you could say, well, there's mean and being, and there's, you know what I mean, and even that's a story, really. Like, but you know, so there's a sense of being there, and then there's a sense that clearly you're not. You know that nobody is, because it's the same thing, obviously.
yeah,
It's very that's you hear a lot of people say that's quite a it's amazing. It's the same realization that there's nobody in there. When there's nobody here, there's obviously nobody anywhere. So no, there is no such thing as a separate person. And that can just be really obvious, and then that can not be obvious again. Like it's not a state. It's not a state. You know, what's the thing with a glimpse of like that though? It'll never be like that again either, really. Like, you know, and it's not a state either. It's not some like people tend to think of it like of almost like that's going to be made permanent then. But nothing is made permanent, because the only thing that's permanent is energy, and energy is both of what you described. It is whatever appears to be. But that's just that just plays out like it plays out then. So you know,
that's true. That's been noticed, that those experiences are never duplicated ever. They
oh
always
no.
always they feel different.
Yeah,
They feel yeah, kind of like whatever energy is present is what's the way it is.
but that's exactly it. Like that's what's been suggested. That's what's been suggested.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's just very obvious to nobody that whatever is appearing to happen is it. Whatever is appearing to happen. So if that's confusion, then that's confusion. That's confusion. But then what the sense, that kind of lived sense of being separate, when it appears to drop away, then what it is that it becomes quite clear that there's nobody who's confused. there might just be confusion, or there might be whatever, you know, it's not, say, something negative, a contraction, you know, whatever it is, a negative thought. And it's just very, very clear that that's all there is. That's all that, it's just energy. So that whole sense of pulling in a good thing, a positive, comfortable thing, and pushing away an uncomfortable, negative thing, that just all collapses.
There's a sense of feeling a little schizophrenic. Like, though, just, I might wake up and feel completely different than I did the day before. And it's more, it's not so much I feel different, but the energy that's seen is completely different. And it makes me feel like I'm different.
Okay, yeah. Like, what I would say about that is, it's always new. So everything is always new. Whereas it's not always new for the individual. There's a sameness to it. There's a second-handness to it, because there's a veil of me that's filtering everything. So everything is kind of known, and it's become second-hand then. And there's a familiarity with, you know, with things, and that absolute newness just is can't be seen, because really that's nothing being everything. That absolute isnness is nothing being everything, and that's not seen from the perspective of something, because something only sees something else.
You
know.
Yeah,
it's the newness is, you cannot describe how the new everything is,
but
like,
mind it's I feel like I can't make any decisions because I don't ever know.
But you're not making a decision. A decision just is again, a decision is just something that appears to happen. That in no part of it is there a you that's doing anything. That's all. It never was. Nobody ever has ever made a decision. But then there's the energetically the addition of themselves to something, and then they feel they made a decision, and then they feel there's a lived sense then of there being an outcome from that decision, because there's causality, because that's the reality the person lives in, and it's 100% real to the individual. It's absolutely real, and everything in the story reinforces that it's real.
So even the sense that I'm scared to make any decision because I don't know what I'm going to wake up feeling like the next day.
There's just a fear.
It's just a fear that I guess.
There's just, what I would say is that there's just the immediacy of whatever that is. So that you describe that first as a fear. So there's, what I would see is that there's just fear. It's just fear arising. And then there's a narrative around the fear then of, I maybe should not make a decision because I don't know what tomorrow energetically I'm going to feel like. All that's just an overlaying narrative. So the immediacy of it is just fear appears to happen. And appearing to make a decision, or appearing to kind of postpone a decision or not make a decision, is what's appearing to happen. None of it means anything at all, because there's no meaning in anything. Because it's all just apparently happening.
That feels right. I think there's just seems to be heightened sensitivity that's uncomfortable, which I know that's.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like with all of these things, all anybody can do is just talk about what's going on or what's appearing to happen or whatever, and that's what's appearing to happen there. Yeah, you can't go wrong or right with it. Like, yeah. I mean, like I nearly always come back to how ludicrously simple this is. What's being looked for? It's too simple. That's the problem. It's just too. There's no realizations that need to be held on to. Nothing. Like, I mean, you could have the most profound realization about the way you appear to be and the way other people appear to be, and it's just gone like a puff of smoke. because it does not need to be held on to. Whereas the person's idea of this is all of these insights and realizations, and get the pen out and write the book, and it's going to be a bestseller.
Yeah.
Nonsense. It's nonsense. It's all nonsense. It does not. This is about something that is completely and utterly useless to the individual. It cannot be known or held on to, or forget about it. Once you think all of that, then it's not it. It's about something very so immediate and just inescapable and unobtainable. Just isness, aliveness, simply just sitting on a chair, breathing, thoughts, feeling of fear, a feeling of safety.
Yeah, just that contraction makes it also neurotic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's playing out there. Yeah, just that.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dana. Nice to see you. I have to email you back, actually. Sorry, I think I have to send you that link, don't I?
Okay, yeah.
I thought of that about 4 times today, and I didn't get it
before I spend my money.
Yeah, I know how it is. Yeah, it tends to go quickly. Can you please share again the details of when the revelation of no self and non-separation occurred? Well, see, the difficulty is it didn't really occur, and it doesn't occur for anybody. It's not a happening. It's an appearance. It appears to happen. So there's a story around it, and I will quickly go through it. But it's totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter at all. Like, so, anybody who comes with a story about how their sense of separation fell away, for the individual, it would be very intrigued by the story. And really, the interest in it is essentially what happened to you, because that might happen to me. And the answer, which the individual doesn't want, the clear answer is nothing happened. Nothing happened to me. That actually the sense that of being me appeared to fall away. So it's not a happening. And I don't really have much interest in telling the story now after saying that, but it's just a story. It doesn't matter really. It's maybe 15 years ago or so. I went on a meditation thing because a friend recommended it. I just finished my master's or something anyway in college, and literally just finished, and it just was right there to do. So I did it, and I had no idea about it. I had no concept about what might happen. I had no I hadn't even thought about awakening or enlightenment or anything. And I went, and on about 2 days, boom, it was just everything was new. I tied my lace for the first time. I saw the hills that I'd been looking at for 2 days for the first time. Everything was new. Everything. It was just the most remarkable. I can't describe it. And so then it was a sense that immediately was a sense that there's just this, there's just what's appearing to happen. So there was that was me launched into meditation and all of that. So I did meditation every day, but from the very, very beginning, it didn't, there was something about it that didn't sit well with me. And what it was not sit well, maybe that's a bit kind of strong, but it was there was something about it that didn't speak of what was seen, because it was really obvious that there was just what was appearing to happen. So then how could I meditate towards that? How could I I take a path towards what already was? So I listened to everybody, and around that time, I think it was the time YouTube really kind of kicked off, probably 2007 kind of time. Yeah, thinking around that. So, well, maybe it kicked off before that, but I hadn't really seen any of it. So everything was on YouTube. So it was, you could just listen to everybody, and it was amazing. And then I just got my hands on books, and tons of books, and read book after book, and listened to all of the, like, to everyone, going back to the Ramanas and the everybody, anyone you can think of, you could listen to a lecture or a talk. So I did all of that. I actually had no interest in anything else at all, really. Nothing else. It was the only thing that I'd really drawn to. It was the only thing that mattered. It was the only conversation. Everything, every experience, it had just paled in comparison. So all of that just kind of played out, and about approximately 10 months or a year later, I heard the open secret, and I very quickly went to a Tony's meeting in Dublin, and that was it. Then it was just so obvious. It was the first, I think I've said this a few times, it was the first YouTube clip I saw. I just watched it, and then I watched it again, and I watched it again, and then every time I watched it was the first time I watched it, which was the first. It was really resonant of what had appeared to happen, and it was just immediately just clicked that nothing had happened to me, and I hadn't gained anything or anything, and so it was really an apparent loss of that constructed sense of self. And that sense of self did appear to kind of play out then for however long, I don't know. So there was a sense of kind of being me and then not being me and all of that, and then that was it, really. And I just started talking about, they just burst out of me then. I didn't want to say anything else. I didn't want to talk about anything else. Nothing. I didn't no interest in talking about anything else. And then, so it was amazing. The conversation would just appear out of nowhere. And that's really where it was here. It wasn't any kind of agenda led. It was just an in loveness with this and the sharing, and so there appeared, sometimes there'd be a question, or sometimes not even so much a question, sometimes it just appeared to be being talked about, and that was it, really. That's the way it's been. That was kind of long and rambling, wasn't it? It feels like I said way too much there. Always feels like I say too much. Yeah. But that is, looping back to what I said in the beginning, I just told you a story. That is a story, because nothing happens to anybody. And that's fundamentally what I'm saying. Nothing is, these meetings, these talks and everything, it's not that something might happen to you, that you might fall away. It's just a direct, clear illumination that there is no yet separate you there. Now, when that's shared, everyone's encouraged, not even encouraged is a bit strong, but it's obvious that you can, there's a sharing and a discussion. So everyone who's in attendance is open to asking a question or saying something or talking about their sense of being separate. And when that comes back, it's reported that they still feel like a person. Often it is, but I can't see anybody. There is nobody there. It's so obvious. If it's not obvious, it's not obvious. And when you feel like a person, it's not obvious, because what you see is somebody else. That's what you will always see. And so somebody says that they still feel like a person, or maybe they say they don't anymore. But what can just resonate and be obvious is that there is no separate me, and there's no separate you, and there's no separate anything. And then when that contracted sense of being separate can just not be there, it just isn't there. And it's it's then seen that it was always only an appearance. So nothing, we're not talking about a real sense of self that really collapses. We're talking about an energetic, apparent contraction, energetic contraction that just does not seem to be there anymore then. And that when it isn't there, it's seen that it was always just an overlay and always an addition and always just a story. Just a story. I think it's just a story. You are a story, you know. But you don't feel like a story when you feel separate. You feel real. You feel like you were born and you will die and you're moving in time and space. And there's out of that reality, there's a yearning. So that's the long answer, and the short answer is, yeah, nothing happens. And this is all about like I can't convey how ordinary this is. Like nobody's ever become enlightened or liberated or anything. It's all a story. Because all of those words, liberation and enlightenment, they point to the realization that there is nobody. There's the appearance of everything is an appearance. And that's freedom, total freedom, then freedom. It's indescribable. It's not what anybody ever thinks it is. It's far beyond what they think it is. And it's completely ordinary. It's just immediately whatever appears to be happening. Oh, hi, Cher.
Kenneth, when the collapse occur, and then what will happen if you with your children and this kind of thing? You don't recognize them anymore? Or?
No. So everything is exactly the same. Do you mean when you apparently fall away?
Yes.
So nothing changes. This is the amazing thing. Nothing changes because what's seen is that you were always a false addition to what was appearing to happen. So if you have children, if somebody is in a situation where they have children, and their sense of being separate collapses, everything is exactly as it was before, and it's indescribably different because everything is just energy. And it's them, if we apply it to a man and there's fathering, then fathering appears to happen. So everything that was within that before, everything, protecting, providing, all of those things, they never needed a you for them to be. They never needed a me. And in fact, then then the children are seen as they actually are then, which the way they actually are is pure aliveness as whatever their name is, instead of an object called, and the extreme example of that is somebody who lives vicariously through their child, like my child's going to be a doctor,
because the only one which I really afraid when I listen to this, the only thing which I afraid that I might cannot see my child.
No. It's just an idea. It's just a concept.
That I
maybe. No. It's any idea you would have about what's been said is simply an idea.
Yeah. Thanks.
And it's like the person imagines their own absence like that, as if like I won't be able to recognize them. It's terrified by the idea of its absence and imagines all of those things. And the hilarious part of that, the divine comedy, is you're not even there. You're already not there. Yeah. And they're not there either in the way that you would think that they are, because they are actually life. Anne is the child, like life Anning, and life sharing it's all a verb.
That's beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. It was really nice to see you. Nice meeting, actually. Yeah, so the things are open on for the blended weekend in London, if anyone wants to join. And that's it, really. And I'll see you there, Cher.
Yes,
Whoever
sure.
else
Thank you.
is, to be nice crowd.
It will be very nice.
It won't be too big. It won't be very big or anything, but there's a nice few coming as well, so it'll be enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be very
Yeah.
beautiful. Sure.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks
Thanks.
yourself.
Thanks, guys. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
you.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.